Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special episode. Oops, sorry. Sorry. Let's start again. Welcome to this special episode of the iWorkinSport live interview. So this week, we're presenting this short series called Meet the Programs. It's the second or third time that we do that. This week, we're going to feature a couple of our academic partners that will present their programs at the Education Virtual Expo next week. So this is a chance for you to talk to them and ask your questions. So as I said, those are the programs that will be at the Education Virtual Expo. That will take place next week, next Tuesday and Wednesday, the 21st and 22nd of June, right? And if you want to connect in real time with the admissions team and with alumni from some of the best sports management programs in the world, register and you can attend for free, right? A great thing about that is that we'll also be offering a $5,000 scholarship to one of the attendees. So if you actually go to the event, you will meet some of the programs. If you apply to join on one of the courses and you get an offer, you'll be eligible to win a $5,000 scholarship from iWorkinSport. So don't miss that. If you're interested, there's a link in the description. You can register below. And and then good luck with that. By the way, my name is João Frigerio. If we're just meeting, I'm the founder of iWorkinSport. And I would like to know if you could actually write in the comments. I can see there's already some people joining us. If this is your first time here with us, actually let me know where you're watching from and if you are planning to attend the Education Expo. So there's a few things there. Just say hi. Let me know where you're watching from and if you are planning to attend the Education Virtual Expo, right? Also, if you want to say if you already participated in a previous event, let us know as well. If you're watching the replay, just the same thing, write in the comments. We check all of them. And obviously, if you want to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, that's great as well. Now, let me introduce my guest today. So I have the pleasure to talk with Cedric. I'm going to try that. Vanden Bogaerde. He's the head of strategy and education at the AISTS, the International Academy for Sports Science and Technology, based in Lausanne, Switzerland. And he's also an alumnus of the course. So we'll talk about many things. He gave you all the information that you need to know if you're interested in potentially participating in the program, if they are apart from the iWorkinSport scholarship, if there are other opportunities for scholarship, anything that you need to know really about that. And also, because he's an alumnus, he'll be able to share his experience studying at the course as well. So I will now invite Cedric to join me. But we do have a video from AISTS here, just a very short one. Let's have a look. Hello, Cedric. Welcome to the show. Nice talking to you.
Thank you for having me this morning. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to anyone who would be watching us from around the world. It's a pleasure being with you. Nice to see you, Joao.
Yeah, nice to see you too. Yeah, we certainly do have people from around the world. A few people are already posting where they're watching from here. So we have Charbel in Paris. Nice to see you here on YouTube, but we're also streaming on LinkedIn. We have Sahil in Mumbai, India. So if you're the other people watching us there, you can also say hi, where you're watching from, and yeah, let me know what you know already from AISTS. An important thing, Cedric, that I forgot to tell them is that this is not just about me interviewing you. This is also for an opportunity for you also to answer their questions. So anything that you'd like to know about AISTS and even about Cedric, you can post your question here. So we're covering all time zones. So Shorty here is watching from Trinidad and Tobago. So nice. That's great to see you here. Yeah. So Cedric, I think that's a nice way for us to start before actually talking about AISTS is if you could maybe give a brief introduction about you, right? Tell about your background and your career to date.
Sure. Although I keep it short because, as you said, it's not so much about me or about you, but it's about really those people attending the show today for them to ask questions, and understand more about what we do. As you mentioned, I've graduated myself from the program. I did the program back in 2009. Prior to that, I was an engineer to electronic and telecommunication, and practicing sport at, let's say, a serious amateur level, but nowhere near professional. And then following the program, I've had the opportunity to join the IOC, where I worked for over a decade in various roles, doing brand management, strategic management, and roadmaps for the IOC presidents, knowledge transfer between organizing committees of the Olympic Games, and review of the delivery model of the Games. In a nutshell, that's my journey in that organization. And then last year, I had the chance to come back actually at AISTS, but with a completely different hat. I'm now supporting our executive director in the operation and development of our education programs, which we'll, I guess, talk about in a minute. So that's, in a nutshell. Aside to that, and aside from the professional life, still very much keen on sports, running, swimming, skiing, doing a bit of triathlon, because that's also the chance we have here in Lausanne is to have an environment that is very suitable for practice of sports, and many opportunities to seize here. So that's about me in a nutshell.
No, that's cool. Maybe you can tell us, expand a little more on your time at AISTS. Maybe you want to cover it in two phases, now working for AISTS and now when you're a student.
Where shall I start? Let's start maybe with the student experience, although that dates back more than 12, 13 years ago.
When was that? When did you start?
2009. So that's a long time ago now. But it's been like flying since then, really. We often here at AISTS describe it as a life-changing experience, and clearly, in my case, and in the case of many of the graduates of many of my classmates at the time, it has been. None of us would be living here or working in the sport industry on international sport events if it hadn't been for the program we did at the time. So it's really changed my life. The track that I've been on since then, I couldn't have thought about before doing the program. So in that sense, it opened many doors. It's life-changing, and at the same time, the program itself is a journey that you're sharing with other people coming all from diverse backgrounds from all around the world, having a passion for sport, some being elite athletes, some being just like passionate people watching sport, but really bringing a diversity that leads to learning also from your peers, not just from the professors, but I remember like countless debates we had in class where we were sharing our opinions and our various views of things happening in sport at the time. And that was also, in my view, super enriching. Some of those debates are like still have stuck with me since then, and I still remember them very clearly as to with whom I was exchanging about what, and yeah, that's just immensely rich experience from that perspective.
Oh, that's great. Now, so let's talk about the AISTS, right? So, well, we call AISTS the program, but it's actually the institution. You have a few programs there. So maybe let's start talking about what does AISTS do. Just before you do that, Cedric, just to shout out to some other people that are posting some comments here. We have Jota Que, I imagine from Mexico City, saying that he just registered for the Virtual Expo. So I'm sure that he will be attending your booth there and talking to you live. There is also, oh, this is going to be a difficult one for me. So Itabeleng, I hope I got that right, from Lesotho. And there's already a question from Sahil, but we're going to get to that in a moment, Sahil. So let's first, talk about what is and what does AISTS do.
So AISTS has been founded over 20 years ago now, at, I would say, the initiative of the IOC amongst others, but there was a need clearly as the governing bodies of sport were getting into Lausanne and the Olympic capital. There was a need to support them with development of professional skills and make sure, or rather further develop the staff that would join them, and that this staff would have professional knowledge regarding sport management, which was a pretty new field at the time, not really well developed and structured. And so AISTS has been founded, has gathered the best academic institutes of the region, which some of them happen to be world leaders when we talk about EPFL, which is the Swiss Institute of Technology, in the top 10 worldwide in its field. IMD, one of the world leading business school. EHL, one of the world hospitality business school. So we've combined all these forces, and they've joined and set up AISTS with that view of supporting the professionalization of the world of sport and the sport industry. And since then, that's what the Academy has been focused on by doing education programs, which we'll talk about today. But next to that, we also do conduct research, such as economic impact, such as legacy studies, such as compliance projects and mandates. We, for instance, test swimsuits and make sure those swimsuits are compliant with the regulations of the Swimming Federation. We do similar projects in volleyball, have done some in archery. And that's where we also bring in the technology expertise from a partner like EPFL. And so that's mainly what AISTS is nowadays. And then with those two core activities, obviously, as time went by and with more and more graduates from the program, we have a significant network of people who are constantly connecting, exchanging, and that brings a lot of value also for us and for the participants to our programs.
That's great, Cedric. So let's talk about what programs AISTS run. That also will answer one of the questions that already arrived here from Zaleh in Iran. Is your program for undergraduate students? Is it a research project? I know that the MAS is obviously a postgraduate course, but maybe you do have something that could be for undergrads, maybe you can explain the programs and answer to Zale as well.
Sure, and thank you, Zale, for the question. So we have our main program here in Lausanne.
Sorry, I think you pressed mute.
Joao, can you hear me?
Now we can. So you're talking about the program in Lausanne?
Joao, are you still there?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Joao, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. I have lost sound for some reason. So
Can you
as long as you can hear me, so I was saying we have our Master of Advanced Studies, which is aimed at participants who have already either master degree or who have a bachelor degree and have at least 5 years of work experience. So that's and this program is really our flagship program, where we have our key professors teaching, and it's a 15-month program starting in September, finishing December the year after, with 8 months of lectures and then some project and work experience to do in the remaining month. Next to that, and it's pretty recent, we have opened a program in India, which is based on the same philosophy and approach, which we can discuss after. And there the program is targeted, I would say, at the more junior profiles. We actually have 2 programs in India, a 12-month program where you can enter as an undergraduate. And then we have an executive program, which is 45 days over a 12-month period, which is more targeted to people in employment in sport in India. And then lastly, we have short programs that are really like a week long, 3 days long, that allow deep dive on a given topic. The main ones we have is around sport event management and organization. So how do you really manage what are the specificities of a sport event, and how do you manage that? And then the second one is around sustainability and how you manage sustainability in sport. What is the impact of sport when it comes to environment, social, and economic sustainability, and really to deep dive on this. So that's a little bit our portfolio of programs. And to come back to Zale's question, depending on your academic achievements, you may qualify for one or the other program, but we certainly have an offering that would help anyone grow further in the sport industry.
Great. Can you hear me, Cedric?
Yeah, I have a sound issue. I cannot hear you. Let me.
Okay, so if anybody listening can tell me if you can listen to me, I will post comments to Cedric in the private chat. So I'll post it here. Can you hear me? I can hear your sound. I think what I'll do is I'll ask Cedric to go out and reconnect.
Please post in the chat as I'm losing sound. I don't know what's going on.
Or maybe you want to try on your phone. I'm gonna ask him.
Let me try to reconnect and reload the page quickly, and I'll be back with you in a split second.
Okay. Yeah. So I see that Charbel can hear me, and Merdi can hear both of us. Thanks for letting us know. So he's trying to reconnect. Let's see if we can continue shortly. He must be just refreshing his page. It was weird because it was working super well until it wasn't. So let's see. He's already coming back.
And I can hear you now.
You can hear me now. That's great. Yeah, everybody else could hear both of us. So that was nice. So the conversation was good. So what I would say is let's now focus then on your, let's say, flagship course, which is the MAS. You can start saying what the MAS stand for and what makes that a unique program.
So as said just before, the MS stands for Master of Advanced Studies. So it's not a master in the traditional sense of a Bologna master, as we would call it in Europe, but it's a postgraduate master. It's a master of continuing education. So it's recommended for people who have a little bit of work experience, although you can enter if you have like just a regular master, and then you can enter straight into the program as well. And really, I would say our recipe for this program, but that we apply also to the other ones, is articulated around 3 elements. We want a program that includes real sports. What we mean by that is that what is covered in this program is based on actual cases, actual work and challenges that the federations or other players in the industry are facing. And that translates very concretely into mandates or team projects, as we call them, that are given by a real client, a federation, a sporting good company, a marketing agency, another authority in sport that has a real challenge, and they're actually mandating a group of our students to work on that. So that gives you the chance to really interact with people who are in the sport industry, to understand a bit more the culture of working of those organizations, etc. The second element is academic excellence. And that ties back to, if you remember the video we played at the beginning, where we say sport leaders need to have confidence. We're equipping the participants in the classroom really with the best knowledge available from our partner universities and from our professors of the program. Really to build that confidence, to have the best understanding of sports nowadays. And then the last element is career acceleration. It's all about the social moments and aspects of the program. It's about connecting with people. It's about giving you opportunities to meet people who are working in the sport industry. It might be through inviting them as guest speaker in the class. It might be through organizing sessions with some of our alumni so that they can share their own journey into the sport industry and share tips with you as to how to best position yourself in that industry. It is also by attending fairs, job fairs, and a breadth of opportunities in that sense, really to fast track your career in sports. And so whether you're coming from another industry and want to join the sport industry, or whether you're in the sport industry at, let's say, regional or national level and want to jump to the international level, the program is really designed for that.
That's great, Cedric. And one quick question is, how international is the program? Because we already mentioned, someone in Paris, in Trinidad and Tobago. There is now Watani here saying hello from Cameroon. Zaleh, I think, was in Iran. We have, who else is saying hi here? So Master Alan in Tanzania. And Elia here is watching in Zimbabwe, just, to give a sense of, that we're reaching many, many parts of the world. So how international is that program?
I could not say we would have all nationalities represented in one batch, because one batch is about 35 to 40 participants. However, in one batch, we typically have about 20 nationalities every year. So it is pretty international. We have the 5 continents represented in each and every batch. We also make sure that that there is diversity in the class for 2 reasons. First, because we don't want the program to be sort of taken over by one nation, one country. So we will set a cap. Let's say we have 20 very good candidates coming from one country. Our selection process will only take a handful of them because we don't want half the class to come from one specific country. Second, when you will walk out of the program, you will work in an international environment. And for that, you need to get comfortable in a multicultural environment. And the best way to get you comfortable for that is to get you dive in such environment while being in the program. So we create that multicultural environment by the selection of participants in the program. So again, about 20 nationalities for one batch, maximum 4 to 5 from one single country. And then diversity from all places around the world: Latin America, Asia, Africa, Europe, North America. Yeah, we have it all, which is always great to welcome the world here in Lausanne to a certain extent.
That's great, Cedric. Yeah, in fact, I know people from all over the world that did the program there. So now, if I'm not mistaken, there have been some changes on the focus of the lectures at the program recently. Maybe you want to talk a little bit more about that and why those changes.
So the program has been in place for 20 years, and it has evolved, obviously, to follow the trends and the uprise of certain topics in sports, such as legacy in the past decade or sustainability that has become more and more prominent. We realized over the past few months that many industries and sport in particular are undergoing major shifts again. Sustainability taking an even bigger place or importance in sport, but more importantly also digitalization. And this is really changing the way things can be operated and managed, both on the event side as well as from a governance standpoint or on a business standpoint. And to address this, we have reworked our program so that there's more focus on management and on technology. When we say more focus on technology, it's not with the view or the objective of making the participants engineers. In an 8-month program, it wouldn't be realistic, and it's not feasible, and that's not the point. But it's really for the participants to understand what are the latest developments in technology, what are they bringing, what are the opportunities that lie with those technologies, and how these can be then shaped into business models or new operating models, and make progress the sport industry. And so that's really the purpose of this focus on the technology aspects. In there, we will cover latest developments of Internet of Things, machine learning and artificial intelligence, wearables, data analysis, and how you perform that to help your management, the management of your projects and activities, and so on.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. So just so you know, I'll keep you informed because people keep joining and saying hi from all over. So Amanda Ramos saying hi from Paris, France. And Master Alan just asked me, I think, how can I register for the Virtual Expo? There is a link in the description of the video. So if you're watching it on YouTube or on LinkedIn, if you go to the description of the video, there's a link there. You can just go and register then. Now, there's a question from Sahil that is pretty much where I wanted to go as well. And he's asking, what can an applicant do to make a better application for the MAS program? So my question was more or less in the same way. I wanted to know, what do you look for in candidates for the program? Maybe talk about a bit of the profiles that you're looking for, but maybe you can give some tips and advice that can help an applicant.
Sure. So to cover the requirements and maybe more the basic elements, as said, for the Master of Advanced Studies here, we do require either a master degree or a bachelor degree with 5 years of experience. Doesn't need to be in the sport industry, can be in any other industry, but it needs to be an equivalent of 5 years full-time. Next to that, the program is taught in English. So English is obviously a requirement as well. And there you can find on our website the detailed requirements in terms of IELTS or TOEFL score that you'd be able to achieve. Then next to that, it's an assessment of the profile of the applicant. And there, what we're looking at is what has been the background of the person. Has the person demonstrated, I would say, constant learning skills and development of its career when the person has already a professional career? Understand the motivation of the participants or candidates and what they're aiming to achieve afterwards. Because this program is really a tool for you candidates to achieve your dreams and what you have in mind in terms of career development afterwards. So it's really about then at the candidature stage to understand what people have in mind in this respect, and be able to assess how the program will benefit them from that perspective. So yeah, I would say that's mainly it's really like motivations of people, why they're undertaking, they're considering this program, and how this program will benefit them or how they intend to use it afterwards.
Cool. Cedric, so Amanda Ramos in Paris is asking, in terms of time of previous work experience needed, can you maybe explain? She's asking, is that do they need 5 consecutive years of work, or maybe explain it better?
Yeah.
The requirement.
And it's an interesting point here, because no, it doesn't need to be 5 consecutive years. It has to be 5 years equivalent full time. So would you have worked 10 years at 50%? That would be 5 years equivalent full time. We also, should you be an elite athlete and demonstrate that you have competed at international level, the years that you have competed after your graduation or while you were studying for your bachelor or master degree can be counted as work experience as well. So that's an important element for those of you who have a sport background here to consider. For the rest, there's no requirement regarding one industry or the other, because as said, this program can help you transition and bring the expertise you've developed in your own field. Let's say you've been working in marketing, or you've been working in legal affairs, or you've been working as a project manager or in technology. You can bring those skills into sport because sport needs these skills, and therefore the work experience you have in those fields is applicable for you to apply as a candidate very, very clearly. So it's rather flexible or rather open in this sense.
Great. And what's the application process like, Cedric?
So the application process, first of all, if you're interested, the first step you can do is go on our Am I Eligible page on AISTS.org. You have a form that you can fill in, and we'll quickly help you assess whether you're eligible for the program. This will notify your admissions team, which will then reach out to you and offer you a one-to-one call. So that's the opportunity for you to ask more questions, to share already more about your background, profile, motivations. And there, our admissions team will be able to help you and guide you in this respect and give you a first feedback on your profile. Then after that, you'll be invited to submit your formal application. And in there, we'll obviously need some paperwork, such as a copy of your passport, transcript of your degrees, your CV, your motivation letter. We also ask for 2 recommendation letters, and an English test if applicable. And then once your application is in, this will be evaluated by our selection committee here in the organization, as well as by, in our case now, EPFL, which is really our academic partner, sort of giving the academic rubber stamp on the candidates to validate your application, and then you're in. You will receive the acceptance letter to join the program.
That's great. And Cedric, let's talk about more the experience there in terms of in the classroom. Is that pretty much all lectures in the classroom? Do you have many guest speakers? Do you have field visits? Maybe you can give some examples. By the way,
yeah.
and Cynthia is also watching us from Ghana, just so you know.
Hello, Cynthia, and it's really great that we keep seeing coming in the diversity of the world connecting. That's great, and thank you for the opportunity.
Just before you answer, we get to the question because it's tied to the explanation that you were given before. Charbel Kuri says we did our master. He did his master in English. Does still need to provide an English test, or that would be sufficient for him?
So here in the interview, a discussion with our admissions team, they may actually grant you an exemption of English tests, depending on details of your degree. So I wouldn't answer and commit right away just on the question like that. But obviously, people who have demonstrated, who are native English speakers, or have studied in an English country for a significant period of time, could be exempted of an English test.
Cool.
So just to come back then,
so we were saying about the activity class and visits.
Yeah, so that goes back to, let's see, what we do in the program goes back with those 3 elements that I mentioned before: the real sport, the academic quality, and the networking. So to bring the academic quality, we're working with the best professors of our partner universities. So we have professors from EPFL for the technology part. We have days that we will spend at IMD for the leadership and management part. We have also in management our professors from University of Lausanne and their school of their business school. When it comes to hospitality, servicing, management, event management, we're bringing in expertise from and professors from EHL, and so that really gives you, I would say, the best in class type of professors that will come and teach in class for you on the program. We want it to be real sports, so that. Here for that, beyond the projects that you'll be working on, we're bringing in guest speakers from the industry. They will come and provide illustration, concrete cases of what has been addressed in class with the professors. So when we talk about governance of sport organizations, we may have some general secretaries or CEO of international federations joining for an hour or an hour and a half and explaining how they manage those aspects of strategic planning, development of their organization in their context. And then lastly, more on the networking aspects, and because we also like to bring you in situation on the field to a certain extent, we go and visit major sport organizations. So you will be spending one day at the IOC, having presentations from IOC employees as to what they do, what that organization do. We'll do the same at UEFA. We go visit the Basketball Federation. We go at the World Archery Center. We go to the Motorcycling Federation. So there are several visits that we do over the program, over the 8-month Insight lecturing. And then next to that, we also make sure that there are some, I would say, lighter moment where people can exchange and more informally. That may be through some sport activities. That may be through some wine tasting, enjoying the culture of the Olympic capital. It may be through a snow day as well, just to discover the beauty of Switzerland in this respect. So we're really trying to offer an experience beyond the classes themselves.
Great, Cedric. And now a part that I think a lot of people will be interested in. So, and what's the tuition fee? So how much would it cost for them to go and take that great program, 1 year? It's more than 1 year program. How many months exactly?
Technically 15 months, but lecturing and on-site presence for 8 months. After those 8 months, you may go find your work experience or internship in another country and then move around. So you'll be required to be on site.
There's some questions arriving here from Cynthia, from Sahil, from Mada. Stay there. We're going to get to those. So let's talk about the tuition fee.
Yes. So tuition fee is 30,000 Swiss francs, which covers all the speakers coming to class, which covers the activities and the visits. When we go to those international federations, as I was mentioning, when we take you to the World Track Cycling Center of the Cycling Federation, all this is covered in the tuition fee. Now, and I think Joao, you might mention that as well, or you mentioned it at the beginning. If you apply via the fair next week, there's a scholarship or a grant that iWorkinSport is providing. Should you be selected for that? But Joao probably has more details on that.
Yeah, I will explain exactly how that will work. But also, you do have a few sort of scholarships as well, don't you? Like for athletes or women, or there are some possibilities to work with scholarships at the AISTS, right?
Correct. So AISTS itself, so us as an academy, we provide indeed scholarship opportunities. We have one for athletes, and there we would assess the journey of athletes and those who have made sort of outstanding contribution or outstanding projects through their or outstanding results through their career. We have another one for female leadership because it's important to still promote women in sports, and that's our way of doing it. And there we would assess that on female candidates having again showed outstanding projects or achievements in their professional career. It doesn't need to be necessarily in sport, but really women who are trying to bring changes in their environment. Then we have, I would say, more specific scholarships for athletes in partnership with Swiss Olympic. So that's the Swiss National Olympic Committee. That would identify some athletes there, as well as for those who are alumni from our partner universities. So would you have graduated from EPFL, University of Lausanne, University of Geneva, or I'm the EHL, you'd be eligible for a scholarship there with our partner universities. So that's what we're doing from our end. Now, our program is renowned globally. Its value and the value of the graduates of the program is well known from the sport organizations here. And so quite often you may want to explore ways in your country to get some scholarships. Typically, we know that some bodies in, for instance, South Korea are supporting candidates with scholarships to our program. Some national Olympic committees, if you reach out to them and tell them that you'll be joining this program, may support you in getting some grants. Certainly, probably not covering the whole tuition fee, but they have access to some mechanism also with Olympic Solidarity to help you fund part of the tuition fees. But that would be up to the candidates to explore within their country how they can leverage some of those opportunities. Yeah.
Great, Cedric. I think that's very important information. Now, let me explain to everyone how does the iWorkinSport scholarship work. So basically, what you need to do is to attend the event, the Education Virtual Expo, then visit programs, and then choose one of your choice or more to apply. So let's say if you apply for AISTS, and then you are actually selected to join their next edition, what you do is let us know. Listen, I got an offer from AISTS. Would love to take that program or a different one. And then you and then everybody else that's were also accepted by other programs will be all put in a pot. And then we'll do a live draw of those names at some point. I can't remember exactly the date, but it's all sort of explained on the website. And then that's how it happens. We do have a video as well in our channel from the winner of the previous $5,000 scholarship. I think he got he was accepted by the FBA, the Football Business Academy, was in the pots with other people from other programs. He was selected, and I think their tuition fee is also 25 or 30,000, I don't know. And then we got an arrangement with the program, so he had to pay 5,000 less. So this is basically the same. If you pay in advance AISTS and prove that to us, we can go and refund you. If you are selected by AISTS and is awarded the scholarship, then we can also talk to AISTS and they give you a discount, we pay them and something like that. So this is how that works. We're actually going to almost like 10 minutes to go. Perhaps we can stay a few minutes longer because there's, I think, a lot of things to cover. As I said, there's a few questions that arrived, but there's one here that I find quite important for you to address, Cedric. So Mohammed Reza from Tehran didn't really understand. Do you guarantee a job after the MAS?
So we don't guarantee a job. Let's be clear. It is the responsibility of the participants to apply and be successful in their application. However, and I think that's where it's really important to understand the added value of AISTS. You will have several months here in the Olympic capital to make your connections and understand where you can contribute into the sport industry. So that is already a big asset. But more importantly, and this from our alumni has been clearly identified as one of the, if not the main asset of the program, is we have a career coach that will support you all along the program in first positioning yourself clearly and better on the market, helping you with your cover letters, with your resume, so that and also understanding what are your strengths and the cards you can play in recruitment processes. So that is, I would say, already very important. But on top of that, she's at the heart of our alumni network. And she's very well connected with all human resources of the major sport organizations. So that means that quite often she gets tips or information even before they're publicly advertised. And with that, she can obviously help you, and knowing also what you're aiming for, target to you some job opportunities that are coming up on the market. So there's a whole work that she's doing there that really helps you go to the point and be more successful in your application.
She's indeed excellent. So let's give a shout out to Céline Borin-Kazemi, right? Definitely, she's very good at what she does. And obviously, you do other things. So from the iWorkinSport side, one thing I can attest is that since the beginning, when we created the job fair that we do in Lausanne in 2017, the AISTS have been, paying for the students' tickets. So that's participating in that event is included, or has been at least so far included in the package for everyone that does the program. So I think that's a good added value too.
Yes, so when there are relevant opportunities, and there indeed, Joao, you set up a great tool for the participants, and we saw the opportunity there, so we're indeed offering that to our participants. So it's all those little and not so little things that we're doing that really make your chances, increases your chance to land a job afterwards. And I think at 6 months after the program, we are, I don't have the exact number in mind, but at 90 or 95% of participants working in the sport industry. And nowadays, obviously, career changes, but out of our 650 alumni, we have 350 or 400 are still working in the organizations here in governance, in governing bodies of sport and in the region. So that also tells you the resource in a way that you will be joining, and the pool of people that you'll be joining once you graduate from the program.
Great. Cedric, there's a few more things that I would like to cover. For instance, what is the life like in Lausanne? But I'd like to maybe try to go very quickly through a few other questions that I find important. For instance, just to clarify, a question from Sahil here, when you're talking about the work experience needed to do the program, are internships considered under work experience?
Yes, we would consider that under work experience. So typically, when you have internships to do to get your degree, this will be counted towards your work experience.
Great. There's a question from Mada. She's saying, I'd like to take the AISTS program to work at an international NGO, right? Does your program suit that? She gives an example of Play International.
So if the NGO is active in sport, yes, definitely. We have people who have gone to work with NGOs and in the field of like sport and society and social changes in sport. So definitely there we also have alumni that could connect and testify from their journey in that part of the sport industry. Now, again, as said, the focus is also on the business side of things, but those NGOs ultimately have to be sustainable financially speaking. So all those business aspects are relevant as well for the NGOs. It's quite often an added value that our graduates bring to those organizations.
Okay, there's one more here that I think Cynthia missed part of your explanation. She says she's actually a native English speaker. So what do I do? So I think she's good, right?
keep speaking English. No, clear. If you're an English native speaker, that will obviously come across in the interviews as well as in your motivation letter, and that will exempt you from English tests.
Cool.
For sure.
Just before I got the next question, saying hi to Egid in Rwanda. So let's talk about the life of the alumni and students. So as a student, what can someone expect when going to Lausanne?
Well, I think for those of you who were earlier with us, you saw the video that gives you a little bit of a view of the environment we're in, and beyond everything that is planned in the program, I would say Lausanne, the Olympic capital, is it's a small city, especially compared to international global standards. It's not even 500,000 inhabitants, but it's a very vibrant city in the sense of there are a lot of academic institutions around here. There's a lot of young people coming to study or to develop some projects or startups, etc. So there's a lot of activity going on and a lot happening in and around sports. So that's really a good hub to be in and to immerse yourself in to maximize opportunities of developing a career in sports. Next to that, there's with all those people living around here and in such a let's say human-sized city. Quite often, if you go to restaurants, to bars, you will bump into people who are working into international sports, and you really understand also or connect on a social level from that perspective. And I think, Joao, with your journey in the Olympic capital as well, I think that's certainly something you can attest as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great place to be. 100% love it. Now, Cedric, and just going back to clarify, I don't know if you would like to give maybe more examples of the work experience that the participants usually have before coming to AISTS. Do you have that stats, or also maybe give mention some examples or where they are at the moment once they graduate, just to give them a good idea of their profiles when they come in and where they go after?
In terms of background of participants when they join the program, we have a variety, because something we didn't mention is the average age of participants in the program is around 32 years old. Most of people being between 28 and 35. We have some younger people, we have some older people joining as well, but that's really, I would say, the core. Therefore, they have a couple of years of work experience. Some are coming from banking and finance industry. Some others have been practicing as corporate lawyers. But then we also have people who have worked regionally or nationally in the field of sport in their own countries. So it's quite diverse in this respect, and it may go from some people like those who have just graduated from the master studies having none to almost no work experience, to having more experience, like maybe 10 years of experience. What we're looking for in our participants is that they show a constant path or trend of development, and that they've undertaken more responsibilities along their career, because that really shows the eagerness to progress, to keep learning, keep developing, and pushing for change. So that's really important to us. But then, we have engineers as well. We have software developers in the class this year. We have people who have been elite athletes and Olympians, which is great also to share experience and learn from your peers, as we said. So it's quite diverse from that perspective.
And maybe some examples of where they are at the moment once they graduate.
Yeah, exactly. So we have obviously a good core of them being in international federations, be it the IOC, be it UEFA, FIFA, or some of the other international federations such as basketball, fencing, equestrian. I think at the moment we still have about over 25 alumni in the IOC, to give you a sense. And then others have gone into other parts of the sport industry. We have some in major agencies such as Team Marketing, which is holding the rights for UEFA, such as Infront, which is dealing with rights for major club and leagues in sport. We have others who've gone onto the entrepreneurship journey, developing their own company, sport event companies, sportwear companies. So there's really a breadth of journeys from our alumni.
Cool. That's brilliant. There is Otacílio and Regina both saying hi from Barra Bonita in Brazil. So hello to them. So we do obviously have a good audience there. Mada, sorry, has another question about scholarship. I know there's a scholarship for higher athletes, but is there a scholarship for international coach?
Not as such. However, I know that in its funding programs, Olympic Solidarity has some funds for athletes and for coaches. So that's maybe something to be discussed with your National Olympic Committee and see if they can, on behalf of you, get some funding from Olympic Solidarity, for instance.
Great. Cedric, we have just passed the hour mark, but if you don't mind staying a few more minutes, I think that we could have just talk very briefly about the AISTS in India program and maybe about the other short programs that the AISTS offer, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
If so, maybe we can start talking about the AISTS in India. And maybe you can tell us, what's similar and what's different from, the MAS in Lausanne.
So what is similar? The same three components of academic quality, real sport, and career acceleration. The academic quality actually happens because the professor teaching here in Lausanne are sent over to Mumbai in India, and they're teaching either there in person or remotely from our remote teaching room that we have here in our building. The career acceleration is more focused on the Indian network and how to navigate the Indian local network and local sport in India. And the real sport is the same. The projects that the participant will be working on will be more Indian-based. But for the rest, in terms of learning, it's pretty much the same pretty much the same multidisciplinary approach than we have here in Lausanne. Obviously, the lectures are being adapted considering the profile of the participants, which may be a bit more junior than the one here in Lausanne.
Okay, and if I'm, let's say, an Indian applicant, or maybe even from other country, or a potential participant, how do I choose between the AISTS MAS in Lausanne or the one in India?
I think there are several elements to consider. First, it's your background journey, academically and professionally, and whether it meets the requirements of the MS in Lausanne or not. So that's one element. The second element is obviously also where you want to go afterwards. Do you want to go and live internationally, meaning moving countries, maybe also afterwards in your professional career, because you may come study here in Lausanne, Switzerland, but then move to other countries to pursue your career opportunities? Or do you want to focus and you have projects that are more dedicated to sport in India? So that is another major criteria, I would say. And lastly is the connections you want to build, and how you want them to serve your professional career afterwards. Again, if you're more leaning towards Indian sport and the development of some major sports in India, such as cricket, such as kabaddi, and others, AISTS India is way more relevant in that case.
Cool. And lastly, maybe let's have a word about the short programs that you offer. You have one called SEMOS, you have one, on digital technology. So maybe, who are those short programs for? How long do they last? Maybe give us a bit of information on that before we go.
Yeah, sure. So those short programs, there's no requirement to enter them. So they're pretty much for anyone, although we would recommend to have some experience in sport to be able to attend and follow what's being discussed in those seminars and short programs. The certificates they provide are not so. The MAS, the master here in Lausanne, is really like an academic degree recognized by Swiss authorities. Those short programs are they don't have credits academic credits to it, so that's something to consider as well. However, they will give you hands-on and really practical learnings from the sport industry. So you will be exposed to speakers and people working in the sport industry. You will work on real case studies from the sport industry, and so that's really the added value, because that brings you the latest developments and considerations from the heart of the industry. So that's really the advantage of those short programs, and obviously they're shorter, so they're particularly relevant for people who are already employed either in the sport industry or outside of the sport industry and want to know more about a topic or the other. So typically sport sustainability, managing sport sustainability. If you have an interest in sustainability, that's a very good program to join to learn more about what are the latest development in sustainability and what are the challenges that sport faces in this respect, and how you can embrace and address them.
Great. Cedric, I think we covered everything. Is there anything else that I didn't ask you that you would like to mention?
Maybe to mention that our next batch here at the Master of Advanced Studies here in Lausanne is starting on the 1st of September. Formally, our recruitment process is closed. The last deadline was 1st of June. However, knowing we had this fair coming up with you, Joao, we've kept 2 spots on the program, so there are still opportunities to join. So awesome. I would recommend, are you considering this program, to still contact our admissions team and discuss with them what are the opportunities to join. We still have those 2 spots available. So seize that opportunity if you are interested, and looking forward then to see you in September.
Oh, that's great, Cedric. So yeah, I can only invite everyone to go. Hit the link in the description, register. It's free to attend for sure, and then take the opportunity to speak with the admissions team from the AISTS there face to face. Tomorrow we're going to have a similar session with a guy called Scott Ross. He's the academic director of the sports management for Columbia University. So So that's actually the first time that they're participating in one of our events as well. Well, not at the job fair, but at the Education Expo. So that's exciting too. So if you're interested in opportunities maybe to work in to study in New York, in the US, you should definitely follow that too. Cedric, it was great having you here with us. I think that was, very elucidating. We answered many questions from the audience. I want to thank everybody that is still here with us. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in person soon.
Joao, thank you very much for the opportunity and the exchange today. Thank you very much to everyone who connected and shared some questions. Hope we addressed them. If not, feel free to contact our admissions team. Go on our website, AISTS.org. Check out the Am I Eligible form or send an email to admissions@aists.org. And the conversation will be taken by our admissions team. Joao, thanks again a lot for this morning and looking forward to seeing you soon.
Brilliant. Stay there just a few seconds, Cedric. I'll tell you when we can go. Bye-bye, everyone. See you tomorrow, hopefully.